Hello everyone, welcome back. Team Talk TV, it's episode 60. A different type of podcast today, FA Cup weekend, but before we go all into that, 4 of us today. First time of the season, Scuffy, how are you?
Bad, chilling, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing going on.
Yes,
great introduction, by the way.
Huh?
I said that was a great introduction, by the way.
I know. There's only so much I say, but go on.
Good to have you, Scuffy. Ibs, back again. How are you with the Sky Sports t-shirt?
Yeah, a bit of product placement. Nah, I'm good. I'm happy, Arsenal got their win, so that's a good weekend for me. Good weekend.
Right. And lastly, we've got Coach here. Coach, how are you?
Back again. I'm good, man. I'm good. How you doing?
Yeah, doing good. Obviously, I want to say this every podcast. Make sure you check out Coach's book, Asset and Liabilities. It's going really well. You can get it from Amazon. I'm gonna obviously share that in the link below. I actually ordered one on Friday.
Yeah?
So I'll show the man them next week. What I think about it and all that. So Coach.
Nice one, John. Nice one.
No problem. But yeah, let's get into it. It's an FA Cup weekend, so usually we'd be saying we just watched the latest Sunday game. Well, I did watch the latest Sunday game. Marine AFC 0, Tottenham Hotspur 5. Shout out to Marine, 8th tier in North Liverpool, Crosby. Big shout out to them. And Tottenham would pretty much put them to bed. But it was the magic of the FA Cup, which was one of the topics today. Why has the FA Cup lost its magic? But before we do that, I'd just say, obviously, Friday, Aston Villa 1, Liverpool 4. I mean, it was quite a story for one moment because Louis Barry put it 1-1, the 18-year-old, obviously the kids against Liverpool, and Liverpool saved their embarrassment by winning 4-1. Arsenal, well, they had a red card at the time. It was rescinded. They won by 2-0. Emil Smith-Rowe coming to the rescue again for the Gunners. Manchester United, they won by 1-0. McTominay was the captain, scored. City, Chelsea, comfortable wins. Leeds United knocked out by Crawley Town by 3-0, League Two side. And the only non-league team in the 4th round of the FA Cup is Chorley Town, a small town outside Wigan and Bolton, if I remember correctly. So yeah, that's pretty much the FA Cup. Can't really talk too much about it. But the question that was raised in the agenda was, why has the FA Cup lost its magic? Now, I think it's fair to say this week, there's been stronger fielded sides for whatever reason. I don't know, maybe the teams fancy themselves to go far in the FA Cup this season with everything that's going on in the season. But if I asked you guys, why has it lost its magic? What would you guys say to me?
I think it has. I used to be really excited for the FA Cup, back in, especially between, 2001 to about 2008, Cup final day. I mean, Arsenal featured in 3 or 4 of those. So Cup final day was big. You get up early, you watch Soccer AM, and then it's BBC's coverage. And when it was at Millennium Stadium, especially, I don't know why I thought that was better than the new Wembley. But now it just feels like it's like the League Cup in a weird way. It's just a competition where teams will take it seriously to a point, but I think that's when they get to the quarterfinal stage. And I don't think the magic's there. You don't even get lower league clubs beating the big clubs as much anymore. I know Leeds lost today, but back in the day, I don't know, maybe it's just had its time and maybe it feels like more of a lower league cup compared to how the Champions League is, put up there, and the Premiership. Those are the ones. I feel like top 4 is bigger than the FA Cup, when in reality it shouldn't be, but it is. And I think the magic's been lost to the fact that you could go in a season and finish 4th, and that season's better than finishing 6th and winning the FA Cup. When for me, finishing 6th in the FA Cup, and I've said this before, is a preference that I'd rather have to build towards than just finishing 3rd and 4th every year. You might get some money in some Champions League football, but you're not winning anything. But I guess that's the trophy over football type of conversation that you can always have. But I think it has lost its magic, yeah.
I think it's got a lot to... I think it's also got a lot to do with money. The FA Cup, you win the FA Cup, great. But these owners, they look at the balance sheet. Okay, if we go far in the FA Cup, wonderful. Or can we rest some players to get top 4? Which one's going to get us more money? At the end of the day, top 4 is going to get you more money than the FA Cup. You think if the FA Cup had a bit more about it financially, because a lot of stuff in football is driven by finances now, I think people will take it more serious. I don't know if you get like a 10 to 15 mil, you know, for winning the FA Cup or something like that. I think that will be an incentive for a club to go and get that money. But in terms of the traditional sparkle about the club, like Ib said, the day is big. Obviously, growing up a United fan, we had a lot of them days and whatnot, the BBC coverage and that. But I just think it's just because the money is so big for top four, it's just lost. It's just lost in the shuffle right now. If you get it, great. I mean, even looking, for example, Arsenal fans right now, there's a lot of them, Arteta out, this, that, and the other. He just won the FA Cup the other day.
Exactly.
Like that's a big feat. That's his first trophy. He's already been there for a few months. And normally it would give a manager like, okay, he can win trophies against big clubs. It's not like he beat Crawley Town in the semis and beat, I don't know, Huddersfield in the final. He beat 2 top Premier League teams in the semis and the final. But you would think that would hold weight as the FA Cup, but it doesn't anymore, because right now, if you don't win the FA Cup and he finishes top 4, they will say he's successful. He's won the FA Cup in the summer and he might not finish top 4 and they'll say he's not successful. So that's what I think it is. I think it's very much financially driven.
I think definitely money is a part of it now. Wanting to play Champions League football, some people say, okay, well, we're in the Champions League, we can sign better players, and the FA Cup doesn't show all of that. In my opinion, I'd like to see the FA Cup revamped a little bit. I think this year, because of the COVID situation, they've scrapped replays. But also the flip side of it, I know for the lower clubs, they would benefit from playing the replays if they draw. Let's say it was Liverpool against Plymouth, and Plymouth go back to their ground and they get a lot of money with the replay. Mm-hmm. They've scrapped it this way. But also at the same time, the fixture congestions and fitting everything in, and then just the responsibility and trying to go as far as you can in the Premier League and the Champions League, it definitely held weight back then. It was, I can obviously reason with you as well. I don't know. I mean, Scuffy, what would you do? Because in my head, I'm thinking, you look at the Europa League now, and it was always the second best European competition, always will be. But if you win that, you go into the Champions League. Do you think something like that with the FA Cup could prove to be a bit more of a worth, or more teams taking it seriously to win the FA Cup and go in the Champions League, as an example, the way Europa have done it?
Well, wait, which cup is it that if you win you go through to the Europa League? Was it just the League Cup or was it FA Cup as well?
FA Cup and League Cup, it's both. It's both.
Yeah, so technically the incentive kind of is there, but more for the lower ended teams that make it that far. Does that make sense? Because the lower, well, depends how low we're talking, but a lot of them I would like to think take it serious when they're playing like a big dog. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So when they play them, they still will try with their efforts and whatever it is. Like you see, even like the under-16s playing against Liverpool, it's like they were playing. They was even happy to get a goal. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And you see the excitement in their faces. So imagine it being like underdog teams that can actually go and potentially get into the Europa League. So if you say Champions League, I'm not too sure, but from time that incentive is there, I feel like they could, like the lower end of teams can actually have the efforts to try and make it into that. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, personally, Sharp, I like that idea. I'd rather have a top 3 and then whoever wins the FA Cup goes through to the Champions League, but only if you're in the Premier League. Huddersfield or, like I said, lower league teams, you cannot be going into the Champions League. It's just.
But then isn't that a bit unfair?
What's that? No. But what I'm saying is that on the flip side, I think the lower league teams, if they was to win it, like Millwall played United a few years back and whatnot, if they was to win it, you give them a lump sum within the money, because I think the finances will help them out even more. So if you're below the Premier League and you win the FA Cup, you get a big bonus, maybe 10 to 15 mil. But then if you're in the Premier League and you win the FA Cup, you go straight into the Champions League. That's what it's got to be some sort of incentive that way. I know if Aston Villa was to win the FA Cup and then you've gone 38 games and you've finished outside the top 4 by 1 point, and Aston Villa wins the FA Cup and they somehow get into the Champions League. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, it's harder to do the 38 games than do a cup run. But where's the incentive going to come from? If it's not money, it's got to be some sort of place. That's why Europa was dying out for a while. Like, no one cared about Europa until they started saying there's a Champions League spot after you win it. You got people like Mourinho at United who totally forgot about the league. He totally didn't care about the league. He knew the easiest path was the Europa. So Europa found that out in terms of the, you know, the kind of incentive. But I don't know what the FA Cup can do. That's the only really thing they can do, really.
But you see, like how you said, the Championship teams. I mean, well, the Premier League teams, if they win it, they go through to the Champions League. What if the team was in the Championship? What do you think that incentive will be towards them? Like,
no, I'm saying that for them, anyone below the Premier League, you get a lump sum of money.
Oh, just a lump sum, yeah.
Yeah, you can get 10 to 50 mil. That's a big chunk of change for these lower leagues.
I guess it depends on the team, innit? Because if it's like League One to Norwich, example, 50 mil will be different to a team that might be bottom end. You get what I'm trying to say? Even though they'll win it, but you know. I
think most of them lower league clubs, they're just like I said, it's all about money. Like you said, Shahar, they love the replays. The replays bring money. Now actually go all the way. It's like were they in the Premier League when they won the FA Cup? Portsmouth.
Yeah,
Premier League, weren't they? They won the Premier League.
Yeah, in the Premier League.
When's the last time someone won the Premier League outside the Premier? I mean, won the FA Cup outside the Premier League? Does anyone know?
It was Wigan. I think Wigan, but they went down that same season.
Yeah.
Well, technically they're still in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really happen at the end of the day. It doesn't really happen. But for the Premier League teams, it's a massive incentive, you know, to take it seriously, you know, field your best team in the final or semi-final, quarter-final, whatever it is, and then go from there. But what other incentive do you have apart from money and a place in a big competition? What else is there?
I think the topic will always be top four or win the FA Cup. I think Arsenal have been in that situation 3 times or 4 times, however many times they've won it in the last 16 years. It's about progression. And I think with Arsenal, because they've not actually got into the top 4 either of those times they won the World Cup, or at least 2 of the time they won the World Cup, it becomes a little bit of a different scenario. When you look at Spurs, for an example, they're dying to win the trophy. Yes, they're in the League Cup final now, and best of luck to them and whatever. But they've always progressed, and I can see the argument of Arsenal fans saying, like, okay, you've been in the Champions League, but you've not actually won anything, and you never really went far in the Champions League. Came close, went to the final against Liverpool, but it's a flip side. It's an interesting debate. It is. But what I'll always say is, in my opinion, each year there's always a nice story in the FA Cup. It's always mostly down to the lower clubs. Like, you know, I just watched the story of Marine. Marine were in the preliminary round. I hope I said that right. And they played in the 3rd round. They got Plumbers who hit the bar today. It's true, but the Plumbers is playing against Gareth Bale, who's won the Champions League 4 times. You know, it's just a mad story. And even Friday night, obviously the outbreak for Aston Villa. I mean, just look at the face of Louis Barry when he put that away. I mean, when I watched it back afterwards, I'm thinking, wow, what negative can you say about that? Like, it's just an incredible story. But it's always a split opinion with the FA Cup, and all I can say is, guys, let me know what you think. Come on the comments on Instagram. Why is the FA Cup lost its magic? Do you still watch it like how you did 10, 15 years ago on the BBC coverage? And what could be done to really improve it? We'll go on to the next topic. Quite a few to get through. Now, this one, Coach, to be fair, I'm going to give you the floor on the agenda. So, Chelsea have been setting up some academies up north to acquire some talent in Newcastle, in particular. What's that all about? Is there something that you can explain to us? And
so basically, what's happened at the moment, from the best of my knowledge and just speaking to others in the game, obviously with this whole Brexit thing, clubs are not going to be allowed to buy players from 16 years old, so they have to wait to 18 before they can buy players. So now, obviously, Chelsea looks like they're moving first. Other clubs are probably doing it, but it has to be certified with the FA first. I think the FA or Premier League or whatever it is. But they're basically trying to move where they partner up with, I think, one of the top teams up north and whatnot, and basically acquire the best talent. So they will get their perks, the local club and whatnot. And obviously, if they have any star players, because I think there's a lot of players that come from, I think it's Newcastle City something. I forgot their name, but it's about basically getting the top talent in this country, because they cannot now go, as they usually do, and buy the top talent at 16 years old. So now you need a top talent in England from 16 to 18 to really flourish before you even think about buying any other foreign player. So that's where Chelsea are trying to get ahead of the curve, ahead of the game. Obviously, they've made a lot of money through their academy, so they've got a lot of money to spend. So setting up an academy in this part of England or that part of England, it's not really a big deal to them. I think they're just trying to get ahead of the curve where other clubs might be a bit slower. But from what I've been hearing from people in the game, certain agents and whatnot, they're saying it's a good thing for English talent. At the end of the day, it's a good thing because when they get to 16, a lot of these coaches or whatever it is, if a player's been bought in for example, from Belgium for whatever million, and then you've got a really good local kid, who's going to get the chance first? The person that's been bought. Basically, you need to prove that buying them is much better than this local talent that you've been bringing up for 7-8 years and whatnot. So Chelsea, yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to get approved, but if it does get approved, just look out for a lot more Premier League clubs basically hooking up with a lot more local teams that supply a lot of good players. That's basically what's going to happen.
Wow. Do I see it going through? Well, maybe, because obviously, is it because of the Brexit situation? Is that why they're doing it?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Brexit, whereas, even Arsenal, Man United, all these clubs, they used to buy these, Barcelona talents at 16 or a kid from Belgium or wherever it is. You can't do that no more. That's under the regulation. You cannot do it. You got to wait till they're 18 and they're adults before you can do it. So now the onus is when you get to 15, whereas before maybe you can let a few of the local talents go because you're spending money on what you think is a bit better abroad to bring them in. You cannot do that now. So now the clubs are forced to give those boys at 15 a chance to develop and see what they turn out like at 18 and whatnot. So it helps the local boys. It helps the local boys in the country. So like I said, Chelsea are one of the clubs to have a top academy. They produce players, even if they don't go into the first team, they make a lot of money off their players, whether it's loans, whether they get sold, whatever it is. They put money behind their academy better than most academies. I think City's behind them. City, as the new owners have come in, City are trying to do the same thing up north. But in terms of the whole academy thing, Chelsea put money behind their kids. So they're just seeing what's about to happen, basically, and they're just trying to get ahead of the curve. That's it.
I think it sounds like an idea. It sounds like a plan. If the flip side is positives for both of the local people and obviously for the bigger clubs, don't know. It sounds interesting, Coach.
For me, Sharp, sorry to cut you. For me, it's a good thing because this is something that should have been happening way before Brexit anyway. Like these top clubs should be partnering up with junior clubs and whatnot and helping them out how they can. So if you get that 1 or 2 gems that come through your club, you might get first dibs on them. That's only fair. That's a partnership at the end of the day. It's only fair. So, but because they've been forced into this, like say, for example, Chelsea are going to go up north for this Newcastle club. Great. But now that puts pressure on Newcastle as a club. Okay, how can Chelsea from down south put money behind a club that's in your backyard? Now that might force Mike Ashley and them not say, hey, we can't let this happen. We've got to now partner up with this local club for our local talent. Because what's happening is that a lot of clubs are just lazy. They know they're going to get the gems in every single club. If you've got a talented player, I own a football club, grassroots clubs. If you've got a talented, it doesn't take long to get into the parents' ear and whatnot, and they're off. Like they're off. Chelsea come into your ear, Arsenal, whatever it is, them kids are off. But now, because they're going to be fighting for the same players, they want to get ahead of the game. So if I partner up, I get first dibs and whatnot. But now it's going to force the clubs to actually partner up with more grassroots clubs. And maybe we'll see more money flowing into grassroots football, which it needs to be doing anyway. Otherwise, grassroots football will die. That's what's going to happen. But most of these players go to academy from grassroots football. So it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing anyway.
It's homegrown talent as well, isn't it?
What's that?
It's homegrown talent as well.
Yeah, homegrown talent. They'd be given a chance because so many of them get released at 15. So many of them, because they say you're not going to cut the grade at 18. They project how you're going to be. If I brought a kid in for 1.5 million and you're a local talent, I need to prove that 1.5 million I spent of the owner's money is going to come to fruition. So I'm going to force this player ahead of the player. He might not even be better, but I'm going to force this player ahead of you to make sure it proves my point about buying players at 16.
as it's a business as well, isn't it? So the money
It's business.
before the talent does.
Yeah, 15, 16 years old is business. That's what it is. It's even business from about 14. If you really look at it, it's all business at the end of the day. So we'll see how it goes. But it's good for English talent.
I wouldn't be surprised if it goes ahead the way you're explaining it, Coach. I think it would be great. I'm just saying, it, like, for two sides of the stories is a positive for both. So yeah, very interested. Obviously, Yves, do you want to add anything towards that? I mean,
I feel like it's a affiliation sort of thing, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
And so if there's a little starlet or a good kid, a lot of Prem clubs would do it with like League One clubs or foreign clubs. So Chelsea had it with that Dutch club, didn't they? I can't remember who they were called. So, yeah. So at that point, if Chelsea had a 16-year-old they value, because they'll send them out on loan. Yeah. Do a season there, he can learn a new language, he can learn, a different type of football, come back and hope he'd be ready. So it is a good thing, because a lot of British talent do just get shunned at 15, 16, and then they don't know what to do. Some drop out of football altogether, and then they're wasted talent. Also on the flip side, if you do bring up British talent through, the market value on selling them is, as we all know, ridiculous. Because if they are very good at the age of 21 and 22, if you do sell them, you're going to make a really big profit, regardless. If you go for 20 mil, you made profit. 40 mil, you made profit. So I think it is good. The only thing at that point is also the flip side, that you can't poach foreign talent until they're 18. And a good foreign talent by 18 would have signed long contracts. Because at 16, they're still schoolboyish for you to say, hey, come to Arsenal, hey, come to Chelsea, United, Man City, Liverpool, whoever. When they're 18, they've signed a contract with that club. So if you want to buy them, you're going to have to pay premium, especially if they're really good.
Yeah. And Shahab, just to add to that, it's also going to help the lower league clubs, because what's happening now is that you'll have a lot of lower league clubs really going in and buying those gems that the top clubs miss out on. So now what the top clubs are going to do, they can't just look abroad. They might have to look at a Luton Town or one of the lower league teams, say, oh, is there a gem there? And if there is a gem there, they have to buy them. So that's going to promote more money going down into the lower clubs. So now the lower clubs are going to be looking for those, players that slip through. Because obviously in academies, you've got categories, category 1, 2, and 3. So there's a lot of category 1s are the Arsenals, Tottenhams, Chelseas, whatever. They normally get the top talent to start off with. But then there's the 3 or 4, 5 or 6s that end up at a Luton Town or a Cambridge or one of these lower academies and whatnot. And now the top clubs are going to be forced to look into them to see who are the gems that we've missed. Because at the end of the day, even if you sign a kid at 9 years old, no one knows what he's going to be like at 16. So he might have signed for a lower league team when he's 9 years old, but come to 15, he's one of the top players in the country. So now you've got to go to that team and say, hey, we want that top player. Okay, if you want him, 1.5 mil, or whatever it is that you put in there, which generates money to the lower league teams. So even for the lower league teams, it's much better for them, to be fair. It will get their ideas now flowing, like, okay, let's get out there, do our scouting job, let's see what we can get these players, and then it's business. We make some money at the top end.
It actually sounds like a cool thing, because as you're saying, when you mentioned to the lower clubs, when they dig into them, and then like as a business point of view, they will get that money obviously from the big clubs, and then benefit them, and then makes sense. Yeah. Well, I'd like to see it go through. Be interested in the way you explain it, Coach. Time will tell, to be honest. But yeah, thanks for that insight, Coach. Whatever you've heard there, I did see the article that Samuel sent me, and I couldn't understand it. So yeah, fair enough. Thanks for that, Coach.
It is complicated. It's complicated.
It is complicated, yeah, but it sounds good. It sounds like a cool idea. Just gonna move on to the next topic, going on to youth players and talent. Wilfried Zaha said something, I think, in a podcast with Jamie Carragher. He said that he has claimed that foreign players are being bought over English talent, and the example that is being used here is Nicolas Pepe has been brought instead of whoever. What do you make of Wilfried Zaha's claim there? Is he correct? Because also on the flip side, I can see that the English talent, there's been quite a few coming through into the England first team squad as well at the same time.
So, Sharp, did Zaha say Pepe as a Example.
No, he didn't say it as an example.
Carragher used him as an example, but
Okay.
Zaha mentioned that he had spoken to Unai that summer. To like Emery said, yeah, I want you red hair. But Arsenal have gone out and spent the money on Pepe instead.
Okay.
Went against him,
Yeah. So okay. If let's just say the claim is, which maybe Zaha probably said, is foreign players are being brought over English talent way too much in this country. Is he correct in that way then?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right.
But go on, Scuff, you can go.
No, because to be honest, one thing I will say about the foreign players is like that's when the Premiership became a lot more interesting. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because maybe in the like mid to the late 90s, the foreign players came through and then they started making it more of an interesting game. So putting your money down on foreign players was more likely the thing to do. And now, only up until recently, are the young kids coming through and starting to bring more interest. And even when they're doing so, they're doing it abroad. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So examples of Sancho coming in, bringing in like being the hot topic in that sense. You get what I'm trying to say? So I feel like they always would rather run the risk with a foreign player that can kill it in another league than bringing someone from from the Prem. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because there's not many English players that I know up until recently that don't make the cut unless a foreign player is injured, example. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it even makes you wonder if the English clubs even have faith in their own players. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So for what he's saying, it is true, but then again, there are some gems. But with this whole Brexit thing that's going on, it may help them in that sense. You get what I'm trying to say? So I think he's got a point.
I'm not sure. I'm like, there's been a lot of players coming through in the England squad. I've seen. Obviously, I'm going to lose count. Okay, Mason Mount, Phil Foden, Tammy Abraham, Greenwood. Yeah, I knew my mind would go blank when I was going to describe it. Yeah, I think you're correct, Snuffy. Time will tell. And maybe Zaha might have been a bit upset that he didn't go to Arsenal. Maybe that's why he brought it up.
And they're a fellow countryman as well. So he probably knows how he plays for real and probably thinks he's better than him too. But of course, he's going to be mature about the situation. Yeah, we would all say so. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But it seems like Pepe had that one good season and suddenly he was near enough quote unquote, one of the world's best at the time. Because I don't personally believe in one season wonders. Do you get what I'm saying? I feel like you got to be able to do it on more than one occasion. But off that hype alone, he seemed like more of a desired player. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And then that's what got him the deal that got him. But I think had he done it to be honest, I feel like Zaha, even though he may have not scored many goals, he probably might have been more effective because he's been in the Prem and there's more experience. But obviously Arsenal, when they made that decision and went against Unai, and now look, so.
Yeah, Pepe was just a cheaper option. That's what normally happens.
I don't even think it's that though, because Arsenal would have had to have probably paid 72 for Zaha or something like that.
Yeah, but how much up front?
Cool. So up front, but I feel like Arsenal would have had to pay more to Palace up front than they would have to.
Yeah. They only paid 20 for Pepe.
Whatever it is. For me, I think I understand his frustration, but foreign players are better than English players. That's just it, hands down. I don't know how else do you want me to say it. So whether it's Pepe is better than Zaha or not, I personally feel that I would rather go out and scout the more countries than go here and say, okay, I need to buy a Zaha. Because when you look at wingers, there's so many talented ones who are cheaper options who produce better numbers than the ones that are in England. I would rather go there and buy a player there than necessarily trust an English or a player who's played in the Prem for 6 years. Because Zaha could have come and he might not worked out. But he's at Palace and he's done all right this season. Don't get me wrong. He's done well in the last couple of seasons. But I don't think that guarantees having to go out and buy him. Pepe, we can all sit here and say, yeah, it's not probably worked out the way we wanted it to. But that's a gamble that you have to take when you buy any player. It's simple. You buy a player and you hope that he does well. If he doesn't, then in hindsight, you'll say, oh, we should have bought the other one. But you can't really go back on that. For me, I'd rather go abroad and buy a foreign talent.
To be honest.
It's just because even the foreign talent who are in the Premier for 6 years, I'd still rather buy that foreign talent over a seasoned English vet or whoever who's been doing it for a while. That's just how I think in it. Not everyone's going to feel the same, but I just feel like foreign talent's a lot better than English.
But maybe you start seeing, because of this whole Brexit thing and the rule changing, maybe we'll start seeing the potential of how the youth players are in this country. are they really that good, or is it because they ain't been given a chance at the end of the
If I'm honest, like, I look at the position I look at in England where I feel like it is not good at all is centre midfield. I think there are too many centre midfields who are just not good on the ball, off the ball. They're just not good. But
England,
yeah, English, whatever you want to do it. You got like, sorry, Trav, you got Henderson there. You've got Man there. You've got. No, but I'm just being honest. You've got Declan Rice. You have John Joe Shelby. You used to have Harry R. You would have all of these centre mids.
Fabian Delph.
You've got so many, like Lee Cattermole. You had what's his name? The one that Jay Spearing. Like, all of these guys played for big clubs and they're not good. They are seriously not good. But then I would go abroad and you will bring in a Fernandinho. You might bring in like all these centre mids that have come on cheaper options. You can even go back and bring in a Gilberto Silva, a Didi Hamann. Like these centre mids there are proven guys who I'd rather have. So I don't think the youth are producing it. Everyone wants to be a winger nowadays or a 10.
You feel like the English country, well, in this country, we definitely have to try and find the best centre mids to move forward. I do agree, obviously.
And I feel like the foreign talent that come over really upstage the talent. Technically, it's just they're so much more gifted. So that's why a lot of clubs will go over there. But even if you look at the wingers, everyone wants to be a winger and a striker. When you're young, a lot of them just want to do that. Not a lot want to be defenders. But there must be so many cultured defenders in these youth teams who can play ball. But I don't know, coach might know more than me. But when I've watched League Two, conference, whenever, like, you know, the odd game on BT, the ball never goes through the middle. It's just that all game. So as a footballer, you're not enjoying it, because if the ball's just going from the centre back to the striker and down the channels, how are you as a winger or a centre mid or a creative centre mid?
You're talking about lower leagues?
Yeah, lower leagues. How are you supposed to enjoy football if all you're doing is the defender gets it, left back gets it, and they just lump it forward?
But what I would say to that is, with the lower league stuff, I know a lot of them, once again, is financially driven. We need the 3 points.
Yeah, cool. But surely there's managers and players who want to play football. Surely.
Yeah, no, I'm sure there is. But once again, if you're a manager, you're employed by the owner. What does the owner want? The owner wants the playoffs. The owner wants promotion. You don't go and get the 3 points required, you're out of there. You can play all this sexy football you want, you're out of there. That's what most owners are at the lower leagues. In terms of when you're talking about English talent, yes, centre midfield, England have not been producing players and whatnot. But then the flip side is, which we're going to find out with the whole Brexit deal, like I said, is Jadon Sancho. How is Jadon Sancho, a talent like that, at a club like City, not given a chance and having to go to Dortmund to go and play in the Champions League, etc., etc., and even Jude Bellingham. Why is Jude Bellingham, all the clubs in England, Jude Bellingham has had to go to Dortmund for his best opportunity to go and play first team men's football at a good level, at the end, top level. So for me, it's time will tell. Either these boys are being held back,
which I think it is. I do believe
they're just not good enough. Now, the examples that you said, Ibs, clearly those players, they're not top quality.
But they are given. I see how you said in the lower league, it's results. If you're a player who just runs and you will just kick the ball, you're more likely to be chosen. So I feel like the kids who want to play football in those lower leagues, up to League One, won't be given a chance to shine unless they're at a really top Prem club academy.
But we need the 3 points though. All this.
Yeah, but I'm like, I want to see these kids succeed. But then you're just going to get the same players, and then you're going to scream out, foreign players get more talent. Yeah, because you're not producing enough good.
But guess what though? I was going to say, I think there's a transition now, because like you said, Sancho has gone to a big club. Now he's in demand. So what people are going to start realizing is that instead of spending 100 and something million, we might have that in our backyard. So now they might actually start giving it like the opportunity for the kids to actually blossom through. Even with Arsenal right now, do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, you've got Smith Rowe coming through, and it's like, I don't know if Arteta would have picked him from the jump if Willian didn't get injured. But look what he's doing.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And now look what he's doing. So now a lot of the players coming through, even with Foden, even though I feel like he plays a couple games and whatever, I feel like he's still, like, by now I think he should be a starter, but they even kind of playing hardball with him. Do you get what I'm trying to say? My personal opinion. So what does it take for a guy like him to start playing games? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because I think even Pep even said a couple of years ago about winning trophies. They don't really. I don't know if it's they don't trust the youth to get them there or something like that. So they usually buy foreign players. But in one sense, you could say that the foreign players bring entertainment, and that's why the Prem is the Prem. But,
they bring entertainment, Scuffy, but they are better educated football-wise.
As well as, not as well as, of course. But I mean, overall, do you get what I'm trying to say? Because before then, it was kind of like you say, what's the name, over, like from here to there, like you were saying before, like them British Bulldog football. Say. And it wasn't interesting. You get what I'm trying to say? And that's how come all the talent in Europe, they tend to be going further in competitions, but yet England ain't all these years, and ain't they the ones that invented football.
Well, I'm just going to quickly wrap it up because it's just running out of time. I do feel like obviously preferences as well. I actually do agree with him when he says, even when we look at the England national team, like the midfield is not good. I'm a big Henderson fan, but obviously he's getting older as well, and just no one to take that position really. 2-3 midfielders there, and time will tell. But let us know what you guys think in the comments below on Instagram. Why is it that foreign players are picked more than English players? And do you actually agree with Wilfried Zaha or not? We're just going to spend 3 or 4 minutes on this next question. Now, at the end of 2020, on Monday Night Football, they asked Carragher and Neville on the players to watch. Now, this is an interesting one. So just quickly shout out, well, when I say shout out, we'll quickly do 3 or 4 minutes on it. Carragher said John Stones, the player to watch in 2021. And you're going to like this one, Coach. But Gary Neville said Paul Pogba as the player to watch in 2021. So if I asked you guys of a player to watch in the Premier League, who would you say?
Are we talking just any player?
Any player, 2021.
Not age-wise, just any player.
Just any player for now. I'll say one. I really like Harvey Barnes.
I was thinking Harvey Barnes, to be fair.
Yeah, I really like. I think it's really
Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, I think Harvey Barnes.
Come on, man. Harvey Barnes.
He's got that Harvey Barnes. He's got 3.
You know what?
I've got mine.
Go on.
Mine's going to be Phil Foden.
Oh man, this is
Okay.
No, but let me explain why. I know Coach doesn't rate him or whatnot, whatever. My reason is he's one of those English talents who's, for me, it's like he's foreign. It's weird.
No, just
Coach,
Man City with Pep. Stop it.
No. He would walk into Arsenal's team, Spurs' team, easy, clean. He would walk into those teams. Yeah, for me, 100%. Okay. And for me, I feel like he can have a big Euro as well. And the person I would have said after that would either have been Grealish or maybe Mane. I feel like Mane's going to have a big year. But mine would be Phil Foden.
Mane won't count. I would say Phil Foden. Yeah, I think that's a good point in the Euros. Can he make himself?
Yeah.
Listen, I just said, someone not too high, not too big or not too low. So that's why I just gone in the middle with Harvey Barnes. But I enjoy him. So Harvey Barnes and Phil Foden. Coach and Scuffy, anyone want to say a player?
I'd say, I think maybe Smith Rowe, funny enough. Like maybe not on a European sector, but in a sense of being somebody that potentially breaks through and can pretty much change the whole demeanor of how Arsenal have been playing. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And having faith in the youth. So this could even be like a blueprint to what this whole Brexit thing's about. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You bring someone through and they may change. I'm not saying he's going to be the world beater, but he will definitely have a lot more attention on him. And then people may follow that same blueprint going forward. So that's what I personally think. Maybe this season, but it depends if he's obviously injury-free because he's known to get injured from time to time. So him, Saka. There's probably other players, but and what's his name? That guy, that Hungarian kid that just went to RP. I forgot how you say his name.
You're talking about Zoboslai. Yeah.
That's that guy. Yeah. I feel like because he's going to be part of that whole youth project as well. So it'll be interesting to see what he does too.
Smith Rowe came from Leipzig, I think, as well last season, and he was at Huddersfield Town. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Coach, you can wrap this one up then.
Can you just give me the backstory on the Paul Pogba one? Was that a joke?
No, Gary was definitely.
I never was serious.
But what was his reasoning behind it?
You have to check Castbox. I'm not sure.
I don't get it. That seemed like a joke to me.
From what I remember, he's saying that he still believes Pogba is the main man at Manchester United and he'll finally break through in 2021. as the player that everybody expected when Pogba arrived. That's
Yes,
what his reasoning. He says that every year. It is bullshit. And yeah, go on, coach.
Maybe he might play for a move. That's what he might play for. So he might come out of his shell for the move. But apart from that, there's nothing beneficial for you. Anyway, if we're in the league, then yeah, cool. But for me, do you know who I've really liked this season? And he does play in the same team as Harvey Barnes. I like James Justin, you know. James Justin, like, he's a right back, plays left back as well. He can play wing back as well. I like him. He's very comfortable, energetic up and down the pitch, and very intelligent as well. Like I've been watching him for a bit now, and I like him. And also, I don't want to say him because he plays for the wrong club and whatnot. But I like Curtis Jones.
Okay.
Curtis Jones for me is the type of English centre midfielder, Ibs, that he's very comfortable on the ball. He's
very tidy on the ball. Yeah,
he likes to get on the ball. He like his mode of being a centre midfielder is where England need to go down. Well, not everyone, because you don't want everyone being the same, but in that sort of, like, if you're playing a midfield three, he can be part of the pivot and whatnot. I like Curtis Jones. Like, he's very tidy with the ball. So I would say James Justin and Curtis Jones. Obviously, if he gets more chances and whatnot. I know James Justin will, because I think he's the main right back for Leicester at the moment. So we'll see, man.
That's a really good shout, coach. I really like that one. James Justin had his chance after Project Restart. I think he was playing centre-back sometimes playing full-back. Scored a fantastic goal yesterday against Stoke. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out.
Yeah, top corner.
Top corner, yeah. Lovely goal. That's a really good shout. Curtis Jones, I love him. He got a chance last season and scored a worldie this time last year against Everton in the FA Cup. So great on him. Very, very confident as well. He just got to keep his, just stay grounded. I think he needs to be, and with his attitude. I think sometimes maybe a bit too confident, because I've noticed in the games that we've not won, you can see Jones is really in his element, but that's just part of the learning curve for him. A really good player, and I do think he'll break through as well. And quickly before I move on to the next topic, is there a youngster? Would shout out one or two names. So I'm one of my friends is Tyreek Mitchell, who plays for Crystal Palace, left back. So I'm gonna say him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's one of my mates, Tyreek Mitchell.
I like him, man. I like him.
Yeah.
Shout out him.
I got my fantasy still, yeah.
He's very cheap on there, so go and get him. Yeah, is there any youngster? One or two, quickly?
Saka, I have to say it.
I was gonna say him too.
The kid he's so comfortable as 18, 19. And one thing I don't think people have noticed, his upper body strength for how little he is. You don't, like, as a footballer, you've got to take the hits, and how he holds up the ball and takes the hits, but still is in control of the ball. Not every player has that. So for me, it's Saka. I just don't want Arsenal to do what they did with Wilshere, just overplay him and, all the time. Just keep don't put him in for every game, but put him in for the important games and manage his body well. I hope he's not injury prone at all, but I think he's like a talent. So that would be him.
Okay.
I'd say Lamptey. Like, if he obviously does well this season, he'll definitely push for that good move. I'm hoping, obviously, it will be Arsenal, but I feel like he'll definitely be a prospect if he could stay injury-free as well. But because he's just blistering on the right. It's like he's forward with it. There's no mix-up. Like, you have faith in him in defence as such a young kid. And so going forward, like I said, with that same British, like for the breakthrough, it'll be an interesting year for him. And I feel like even if he left, I don't think it'll be as expensive neither. So if teams are alert, hopefully they'll go in for him.
When you say youngsters, you're talking about the ones like in the Prem now.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go for Premier League. I don't know, under 21 or under 23. Is there anyone that you've got in mind?
I think you guys have said the main ones. See Callum Hudson-Odoi as well. I'm hoping that he has a good 6 months. I was going to say someone that's like maybe 2 years behind that you might hear of him. His name's Shola Shortire, or whatever his name is, at United. He's 16 now, but he plays centre midfield and very intelligent. Number 10, 100%. If he gets shifted out on the wing or one of those positions there, they're doing him a just service. Not doing him justice, basically. For me, he's short. I think his name's Shola Shortire.
I watched him against.
Yeah, he's a good player. I think he will go somewhere. He will go somewhere. If he keeps his head on his shoulders, he will go somewhere. So look out for him.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I thought you
And Eze as well. Eze as well.
Eze, yeah, Eze. I like Eze.
Yeah, Eze's brilliant.
I like
Yeah,
Eze.
yeah. I thought like some coach has said is United boy. Like, okay, let me think of one for Arsenal. Maybe I don't know, Miguel Aziz, or for Liverpool, I can think of a player called Leighton Clarkson. You made a Champions League debut. Anyways, we'll do that another time. Just some youth players there. But just go on to the next topic quickly. Some actual football next week. We'll talk about Manchester United slightly. Then we'll talk about the big game, Liverpool against Manchester United. Apparently a big week for them. They've got Burnley on Tuesday, a win or even a point against Burnley, and they go top of the Premier League table before they play Liverpool on Sunday. Yeah, I know you like that one, Coach. I don't think really it is a big game in hindsight, but I can only see 3 points of Manchester United. And then the big game on Sunday, Liverpool against Manchester United. But before I talk a bit about Liverpool, we'll get your thoughts, Coach. Is it a big week for Manchester United? And what would you like to see now in the next 2 games for them?
Burnley is the biggest game of Solskjaer's career, as far as I'm concerned, so far.
Huh?
The biggest game of his career.
Bigger than Seville in the semi-final.
No, forget this. I told you, Europa is not even.
No, but Coach, it's not.
Jose won the Europa. Don't care about that. Cool, wonderful. Anyway, I'm talking about the league. It's been 7-8 years. This is what I'm on. I'm on the league. I don't care about these other competitions. I'm on the league. If you're there in January, that's what I'm focusing on. Everything else is a bonus. Cool. Burnley is the biggest game of Solskjaer's career so far. Why I say that, this will determine, for me, what type of manager he is at the end of it. If you cannot get your players up for Burnley on a Tuesday night, knowing you go 3 points ahead of Liverpool, and you've got Liverpool on Sunday, I don't know what's going to get your players up. I don't care if we score a loss. We need to get 3 points. That's what Tuesday is about. Tuesday is about nothing else but 3 points. I don't care about the performance. I don't care about the formation. I don't care about that. Get the 3 points, because what I've seen with United and with me is those 4 semi-finals has all come down to mentality. They played against Man City. Obviously, we're not going to talk about it, but they played against Man City playing like it's not a semi-final. You're just going through the motions, and City was the only team that was playing like it was semi-final for me. And for me, that's down to the manager. More time, your mentality. You need to let these players know that, listen, this is the time to stand up. Not when I'm about to get sacked and you get 2 victories in a row and then the pressure's on me. I don't want you standing up then. This is the time to stand up. Man United are about the league. First and foremost, we're about the league. And Liverpool's our biggest rivals. If that doesn't motivate you as a Man United player, you shouldn't be at the club. You should not be at the club. Burnley is a 3 point. We have to go to Liverpool 3 points up, not a point ahead. 3 points ahead, we have to go to Liverpool. Have to.
What I'll say definitely for Manchester United, like I feel like in the long run, if they want to challenge for the league, you are correct. You mentioned the semi-final. I'll also mention when United got knocked out of the Champions League, they needed 1 point from 2 games. The pressure was there. And it just definitely the pressure is rising on Manchester United. Yeah. But this is a good game for United. Burnley, listen, they're fighting for the
Burnley on a Tuesday night. I don't think so. I just don't think.
Are they home or away?
Burnley's at home.
At Old Trafford, yeah?
No. Burnley's at home.
Oh, it's Burnley.
Yeah, exactly. Turf.
Burnley have been tough, but I think this year they're not. Okay, I hear you. I hear what you mean. Obviously,
I'm sure Burnley at home. Let me check that. I'm sure Burnley's at home.
Yeah.
I think for me, Shahab, sorry. For United, if they, by the way, that Burnley game, does that mean they'll have a game in hand over Liverpool going into that Sunday game?
No, that is our game in hand.
That's your game in hand. Yeah. Okay, so you'll be top by.
Yeah, bro. Yes.
I think for me, and there's United fans who watch this. Kev's a United fan. You might disagree here. If Solskjaer at the end of Sunday at 6:15, 6:30, is 3 points in front of Liverpool, he'll take that. What I mean by that is if he gets 4 points out the next 2 games, he's happy.
Yes. Yeah.
If all United need to do is not lose either game.
No.
Wait, let me finish. But win 1. They cannot lose a game, but they need to win 1. So if they come out with
we're losing against Liverpool.
Listen. No, but listen. If United can get 4 points, Solskjaer will take that and just fast forward to 6:30, 100%. Doesn't matter what way he gets these 4 points, whether it's a draw against Burnley, win Liverpool, win at Burnley, against Burnley and draw Liverpool. He will take 4 points because you are 3 points ahead of Liverpool at that point, going into the next set around the games that you have coming up. But it's such a big game for Solskjaer, purely because it will really show whether he has the mantle to sustain the challenge. Because if they now draw against Burnley and get pumped by Liverpool, all of a sudden people are going to be like, well, you went out of the cup, you went out of this, you now lost, you ain't sustaining the title challenge, like what's really there? But if he turns it on his head and can grab some positive points, it will just give his players, hopefully, the encouragement to be like, we may not have the best squad, but our 11 can actually do something here with an extra 2 or 3 subs. We can challenge Liverpool. So it's very interesting. I'm just hoping you get a good game on Sunday because. And
Shahab, with Liverpool, I mean not Liverpool, with Solskjaer, my biggest thing is he now needs to understand he's very close in turning into the Pochettino of Spurs. What I mean by that is Pochettino was able to get Spurs somewhere, but he wasn't able to get Spurs there. He's now proven with all these semi-final losses and coming at the Champions League early with more money than Pochettino's had, he's becoming a manager that's, you can get us somewhere, there is some improvement, but it's looking like you can't get us there. That's what it's looking like. And for me, the Burnley match, that's why it's so important. You need to get us over that Burnley hump. I don't care how it happens. You need to get us over that hump. We need to go to Anfield with 3 points ahead because we're going to lose at Anfield. So that's not an issue for me. I'm not even, that's not even an issue for me because Liverpool, I know for a fact, Klopp will have them boys up for it. Trust me.
Of course he will.
If we're 3 points ahead, Klopp will have those boys ready for us. Trust me. And I know how Liverpool are going to come out. High press. We don't even have players that like to play under pressure. So high press, it's going to be all over for us. It's going to be just swamped. They're just lucky there's no crowd there.
I'll cut you quickly, Coach. I think when we talk about the Burnley game being a massive game on Tuesday, it is. I feel like United will get the job done. Coming on to Liverpool, you're so adamant that United won't get anything. But I'll say one thing, Coach. Liverpool have not won. Listen, I don't want to count Friday's win, really. But the last time we won the game in the league was the 16th or the 19th of December. We smashed up Palace 7-0. Since then, Liverpool have been abject, poor, defensively not good, boring, a lot of crosses, just not looking in great form. And that can happen, obviously. But I can't get my head around it against teams like West Brom and Newcastle. I'm sorry, West Brom. I don't know. Arsenal slapped you guys slapped them 4-0. Leeds 5-0. Villa 3-0. Blackpool knocked them out yesterday. So that one for me is a really tough one to take. Newcastle, I don't care what anyone says, they're definitely one of the worst teams in the Premier League. They're not going to finish in the bottom 3, but cool. Southampton, okay, it's always a difficult place, but you never felt like Liverpool were going to score. So I think right now, this is a good time for United to be playing Liverpool. But, Coach, I know what you're going to say. I know you're going to say Klopp's going to score guys up for it. I know. Tottenham, looked at that game, just relentless, the 45 minutes. Relentless. But for Liverpool to do that, if they're going to play well, but score. But Liverpool's struggling to do that right now. And also, secondly, we don't actually have a centre-back, one of our 3 main centre-backs. I think Matip is touch and go. So it's difficult, brother. I mean, once United beat Liverpool's press, your front 3 will make it difficult for us. So that's why
they beat Liverpool's press. How? You saw what Man City do, and Man City are not even as agile as Liverpool players are. They're not even as energetic as Liverpool. But you saw what Man City done to us. We're playing short passes at the back with players that pass the ball and don't move.
Look, I expect us to control and dominate, Coach. I do, but I just feel like I just can't see Liverpool scoring at the moment. I don't know why.
I think Solskjaer will go with the counter-attack and play.
Go on, Gibbs.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I'll come on to you, Ibs. But the reason why I'm saying that, Coach, is just look at us in the last 4 games. We didn't score. We scored 1 against West Brom, none against Newcastle, none against Southampton. We played the kids against Aston Villa and we were abject. It was only when Thiago came on, a Champions League winner, one of the world-class players in Europe, and he changed the game and we scored 3 times.
But would you be surprised, Shahab, if you beat us 4-1? That's what I'm saying. That's my whole point. You wouldn't be surprised.
I can't say mate. But also at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool struggled to score against United and you hurt us. I'm not gonna say I feel like United are definitely going to win, but I just feel like this is
What?
No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that United are going to win. I'm not going to be that negative. But all I'm going to say is, I feel like this is a good opportunity for United to get something. Whether they'll get it, obviously you sound like they won't. But it'll be an interesting sort of game. But having said all of that, Liverpool United has been 0-0 many times, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens again either.
It's not happening.
But time will tell. I'm so looking forward to see Thiago against Manchester United, because I remember 2 years ago, Fabinho was struggling. And I think he had a game against Arsenal, believe it or not, where he was just getting ran. The shirt, like Arsenal just battered him. Then I think a few months later against United, just set the tone. And I think Thiago, that is a good game for him. So an interesting one for Liverpool. And I don't know, Liverpool just looking a bit stale. But having said that, I think most teams have been stale at a part of the season. Manchester City, United, Chelsea, you can see them right now. Tottenham now, Arsenal, and now they're coming to the groove of things and trying to fight for a European spot. So time will tell. It's an interesting weekend. And next week, me and Coach will be here. And hopefully I'm here when we
level on points will be here, hopefully.
Well, we'll see. We did want to talk a bit about Pochettino, but we do have a star sub and sell as well. But so quickly, just 2 minutes on Pochettino. He's the new PSG manager. Do you think that's a good move for PSG and for him? And do you think he can control that dressing room?
I personally believe so. Because I think with Pochettino as well as PSG, they're like the nearly people. Does that make sense? It's like, okay, last year PSG were in the finals of the Champions League, and I'm sure that's pretty much the mission. It's not obviously League One or Liga One, whatever they call it. So now they're in a position where they've got a manager that was dealing with Tottenham that wasn't obviously big on finances, and he was obviously a coach. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So where he was able to bring them to a certain level. So now he's gone to Pochettino. He's near enough got unlimited funds. So now we can see the truth in what Pochettino's around when it comes to actually having world-class players. Do you get what I mean? So for them to respect him, I feel like if they've got the same passion as he does, then they need to kind of see the vision and work together. And you know what I'm trying to say? Because they all want to get that Champions League medal. I think that's probably like the all in all, and then everything kind of fits around it. So we'll see if he overexceeds as a great manager amongst the other coaches that were there, because who was it? Tuchel, and can't remember who was before him. But Emery. It's like, I don't know if they took them to serious lengths as per se, but now, well, Tuchel obviously got them to the Champions League final, but Pochettino is known to be a great coach for what he's done. So it'll be testing times.
I can see why he's taking the PSG job, because he just wants to win the Champions League only. I think he did as much as he could with Tottenham. Just think about it. Tottenham win the Champions League final in his last full season for Tottenham. So, he's done so much, and he feels like with PSG, with Neymar, with Mbappe, maybe he can take him there. Got a minute left. Anything you want to add, Coach and Ibs?
In terms of Poch, I think he can control them and whatnot. He will definitely get them working harder, that's for sure. Them players in that squad are quite lazy when I watch PSG, and whatnot. But I think you'll get them working hard. And obviously the United job, it didn't come. The defeats for United weren't there, so he just went to PSG. So,
yeah, I think he'll control it. Just got to get Mbappe and Neymar playing.
Yeah.
They'll win League On, but it's just, can they do it in the Champions League?
Yeah.
I've always felt that they're nearly men in the Champions League. They're like the ones that will just give you some sort of hope, but they're a lazy side. It's too easy for them. So, yeah.
And then, like Scuffy said as well, let's see what he's like with money.
Well, supposedly he wants Eriksen, so there's your answer. So.
Jeez.
Oh, God. All right, cool. That's just a little bit on Pochettino. We're going to do start, sub, and sell as we have been doing a lot
this week.
So this week is, would you start, sub, or sell Mbappe, Sane, and Sancho out of those three? This is an interesting one. So
as a winger?
Yeah, what?
The wingers, yeah.
Yeah. I'll go first. Boy. Okay, Mbappe start.
Hold on, Shahab, before you go. Are we judging this off their best performance.
Just judging off them. Them alone.
Okay, off them. Cool.
You have one game. You have to win this cup. You have to win this cup. It's out of deals for you. You have to start one, sub one, and sell one.
All right, cool.
Cool. Well, I'll go Mbappe first anyway. The second one with the sub, Sane is one of my favorite players. But Sancho is such a talent. I watched him yesterday against Leipzig. All right, I'll go with Mbappe, Sane, and then unfortunately sell Sancho. Any
Same. I'll say the same. More reason because I feel like Mbappe, he's more all-rounded. Could play up front, wing. What, do you disagree?
No, sorry. I'm thinking in my head.
I'm going Mbappe, start. I'm going to sub Sancho. I'm going to sell Sane based off his mentality. I think Sane is quite weak mentally. I think he's got great talent, but when I look at the other two mentally, I think they're a bit stronger than him.
I was even going to say, even with the three reasons why I would have said Mbappe, because obviously, like I say, he's more all-round. Now, Sane, obviously left-footed, more direct. So if I was to sub him on, he'll bring something different to the game. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But as for Sancho, even though he's a great player, I would sell him because I feel like he'll be worth the most. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And you get more money for him. So only off the basis of that. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
You get more money off Sancho?
I mean, when I say get more money off Sancho, I mean as in obviously Mbappe is my starter. Sane I'll have a different player and then sell Sancho because he's a prospect, isn't it?
Mbappe starts 100%. There's no denying that. I think I'll have to sub Sancho and sell Sane, if I'm honest. That would be mine. Yeah, Sancho would be my sub, and then I'd sell Sane. But I like Sane. I think he's good, but yeah, I think Sancho is just a tad bit better.
Okay, so we split then, me and Scuffy with the same one, and Coach and Ibs with the same one with subbing Sane and having Sancho on the substitute bench. Well, boys, it's been an hour-long podcast, obviously a different one with the FA Cup weekend, but it's been a great discussion, so great to have you on. We talked a bit about the FA Cup roundup, magic of this cup, the Chelsea Academy thingy, going forward. We've talked about, what else did we just talk about again? Pochettino. We talked about the players to watch. We talked about Zaha's comment. We talked about Man United against Liverpool coming up next week, and obviously the start, sub and sell. So boys, make sure you please subscribe to Team Talk TV, man. It's going well. I think I've plenty of new listeners coming in, and the regular listeners. Thank you so much for obviously listening and the comments and the feedback. I've had a few messages from Sam as well. I mean, I love doing it with you guys, and just make sure just check out the channel, subscribe to us, and just let us know your thoughts, man. Really. Scuffy, great to have you on. First time of the season. Hope to have you on back on again soon. And yeah, Ibs, always great to have you. And Coach,
yeah, man, thanks, man.
Next week for the big game. And yeah, just subscribe. Make sure you have a look at Coach's new book, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys.